If you're like me, you just got a Weber kettle and you're looking for a little help to put this thing together. Stay tuned and I'll be walking you through all the steps to putting this grill together the right way, plus a few tips that might make it go a little easier. Hello and welcome to Grillin' and Chillin' with Coleman. And unless the real Coleman is over there napping in the hammock, I'm Coleman. My passion is helping grilling and barbecue enthusiasts become the backyard grill master they've always wanted to be. Today I'll be putting together a brand new Weber kettle that my honey got me as a gift. Thank you, honey, you know what I like. I'll be helping you through some of the tips and tricks that will really help you avoid some of the mistakes that I've made in the past. This model is the 26-inch kettle, but the steps I'm going to be showing you today will also work with the 22. Now this is a stock assembly, but stay tuned for some upcoming videos where I'm going to be walking you through some of the modifications that I've got planned for this baby. Let's get started. Let's start off with the unboxing of this grill, but you'll have to forgive the box. We had a little rain last night and it got a little wet. We're going to be following the instruction manual and it's set up into 14 different steps for assembly, and we're going to be walking through each one separately today. I've taken all the parts out of the box now and laid them out here on the table. For our first step, we're going to install the leg clips into the bottom of the bowl. Now we're going to start off with our bottom bowl upside down here on the table with our legs pointed up. Our kettle came with 3 of these leg clips and they need to go into the 3 leg holes on the bottom of the bowl. These leg clips go into the hole with the legs of the clip pointing down and the arch pointing up. You'll also notice here on the side of the leg hole there's a small hole. This button on the leg clip goes in that hole. Let me show you how. Just insert the clip and let it snap into place. Install all 3 of them the same way. Step 2 is installing the ash catcher ring. In the bottom of the bowl, you're going to find the handle to the one-touch cleanout system, and in the side of the ash catch ring, you're going to see a slot cut. When you place the ring on the bottom of the bowl, you're going to need to slide that handle through that slot. Then insert all 3 tabs from the ring into the 3 tabs on the bottom of the bowl. Then press it down. All 3 clips should snap into place. We're going to need more room for the next few steps, so let me go ahead and clean off the table of all the parts we're not going to need for now. Step 3 is pretty easy, but it's also pretty easy to mess up. The parts we're going to need are the 2 wheel legs and the bottom triangle. You will notice that the 2 wheel legs have a flat end with a bend in it. The 3rd leg is completely straight, but we're going to use it later. The triangle has 3 points, and we're going to need to install those wheel legs onto the 2 points on the straight edge, and they also have the 2 wheel axles sticking out. The small hole on the flat end goes over the axle rod end with the leg bending in. This is where you can mess it up. Make sure the legs don't bend out. If you get these backwards now, they're going to be really hard to remove after the next step. So far, we haven't needed any tools for this build, but for these next 2 steps, we're going to need a hammer and a block of wood. We're going to use these tools to install the wheels and the hubcaps. The parts we're going to need for this step are the triangle base we put together in the last step, 2 wheels, and the 2 small hubcaps. Place one end of the triangle down onto the wood block, and make sure the top leg is on correctly, then slide on the wheel. Then put the hubcap on the end of the axle and drive it on with a hammer. Flip it over and make sure the other leg is on right. Slide on the 2nd wheel and the 2nd hubcap. And drive that one on with a hammer. For step 6, we're going to be inserting those legs into the bottom of the bowl. You'll notice on the bottom of the bowl that there's a handle. We're going to be inserting these 2 legs into the leg holes on the bottom of the bowl opposite of that handle. It's also important to make sure that the hook on the 3rd corner of the triangle is facing up. Slide the ends of the legs into the leg holes on the bottom of the bowl. You're going to need to insert them both at the same time. They go over the leg clip that we inserted earlier. Slide them down into the holes while you press the button on the clips. And those buttons hold the legs in. It's important that you don't use too much force in them or use anything to pound them in. They should slide right in if you have them angled correctly. Now for step 7. The parts you're going to need are the 3rd leg and the little black leg cap. You'll notice that this leg has 2 holes. One is closer to the end and the other one is further away from its end. On this end, you're going to want to install the leg cap. In the small hole on the same end, you need to insert the hook from the triangle. Place the end of the hook in the hole and twist the leg until it winds up pointed toward the bowl. Then insert the end into the bottom of the bowl and snap it in like you did the other two. Now that we have all 3 legs in, it's time to flip this grill over right side up. It's now time for step 8, but before we move on, if you're enjoying this video and you're getting some value out of it, hit that red subscribe button down below. And don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. It really helps more people find my videos. For this step, we're gonna be installing the lid holder. Now, if you have a 22-inch Weber kettle, your grill might not have one of these, so you can take this time to go refill your drink. The only tool you're gonna need for this step is an adjustable wrench just like this one, but just make sure it's a left-handed reversible metric wrench. Just kidding, there's no such thing. Just a joke from my tool days. You're also gonna need to find the 5 washers, 3 locking nuts, the 2 spacers, 1 bolt that has a square under the head, and the 2 parts to the lower support. Feed the large part of the lower support onto the lid support and slide it to the middle, making sure it winds up with the support on the inside of the curve. Then onto both ends of the support, feed on the spacer so that the larger end is next to the inside. Then next to that, put on one of the washers. You'll see that your grill has 2 holes near the top opposite the handle, and below them you'll see a smaller hole. Feed both ends of the lid support through those 2 top holes. Then from inside the grill, put on another of those washers and one of the nuts on both ends. A little tip, don't tighten these up yet. Put the smaller part of the support bracket behind the end of the larger piece with the bend toward the bottom of the grill and point it out. Insert the bolt that had the square on the back and insert the bolt into the lower hole. Where it sticks to the grill, put on your last washer and nut. Now you can tighten up all 3 of those nuts, making sure everything is lined up. For step 9, we need to install the ash catcher. This is the part that catches all the ash as it falls through the bottom of your grill. If I have to be honest, if there's a flaw with the Weber kettle, it's with this part. If you don't stand on your head and you got your left eye crossed just right, putting this thing back on is a pain. Weber, please, please, please make this thing easier to put back on. Before I put this thing on, I think I need a beer break. Okay, I feel better now. Now, if you'll notice on the ash catcher, it has a handle and then 2 hooks that point out from either side. Hold the pan by the handle with the opening up and slide the 2 hooks into the slot on the ring that we installed earlier. Then squeeze the handle together and insert the handle into the notch just below the cleaning handle. If the stars are aligned and all 3 catch at the same time, it'll just pop into place and stay there. Chances are that it won't, but you'll just have to keep trying until it does. I don't think I've ever done it in one try. Now, it worked this time, but only because I stayed at a Holiday Inn last night. This next step is one of the easiest steps. We're going to be installing both the cooking grate and the charcoal grate into the grill. The charcoal grate is the smaller one and it sits in the bottom, and the cooking grate is a larger one, it sits on top of that. And if you've got the 26-inch Weber, it also has the hinged sides. Start off by installing the charcoal grate with the cross brace facing down. It'll rest on the bottom braces inside your grill. Then install the cooking grate above it and it'll rest on the top braces. For step 11, we're going to install the tool hook handle assembly. The only tool you're going to need for that is a number 2 Phillips screwdriver. The handle comes in 2 pieces and they're going to be mounted on the bracket on the outside of your grill opposite that lid holder. The smaller piece will go on the inside of the bracket and the larger piece goes on the outside, with a Phillips head screw holding them all together. Tighten up the screw, but don't over tighten it. All right, we're almost done. For step 12, we need to install the lid handle assembly onto the lid of the grill. On the bottom of the handle, you're going to see 2 bolts and 2 nuts on them. Start off by removing those 2 nuts. You're also going to need the little plastic tool that came in the bag, because we're going to use that to tighten them back up. The 2 bolts go into the holes on the top of the grill lid. Then start the 2 nuts on the bolts from the inside of the lid. Then tighten them down with the supplied tool. They want you using this tool instead of a wrench to keep you from over-tightening the nuts and cracking the porcelain coating on the outside of the lid. Now for step 13, and I feel this is definitely the hardest step. If you're assembling a 22-inch kettle, you can skip this step. Here we go. Yep, that was step 13. Weber, Did we really need that step in the book? And finally, the final step, I promise. We're gonna install the wheel covers onto our wheels. I went ahead and put the Weber kettle up here on the table. Why? Because I'm old and I'm fat, that's why. Getting down is easy, getting back up is another story. The wheel covers just snap onto each wheel. There's 8 pins on the back of each cover and they pop into the holes on the wheels. Press them in until they pop in place. There you go, 14 easy steps for assembling a Weber kettle. In the next video in this series, I'm gonna be walking you through some of the modifications I'm gonna be making to this grill, including a new slow and sear from S&S Grill, a temperature probe port, and a lid hinge from Unknown Smoking Accessories. I'll link that video right up here when I get it done. We just hit 800 subscribers on my channel and I'd love to send you one of my Grillin' and Chillin' stickers. Just go to my website, click on the Contact Us tab, send me your address and I'll send one out to you, and I'll even pay for the shipping. Thank you again for joining me in the GNC kitchen. If you like this video, here's a few more you might like. Also, please like and subscribe down here and click on that bell. It'll let you know when I've got new videos coming out. I always enjoy spending time with you in the GNC kitchen and sharing my recipes. Now y'all go grill something.